on
maybe
a PC.
that'll get fixed.
Yeah.
In their next
In their Project Jump Gate. But also, if you are on a PC, you can make it doesn't. If you have like an internal graphics card and an external graphics card, it won't use the external one by default because it says, "Oh, it's just a browser." It doesn't need to use the external one, so you can go and change a setting to actually force it to use the external graphics card, which creates a lot better performance. So, but anyways, without further ado, that's session 36. That's not what one. We're on session 40 with this. Current date is Thompson, the 23rd of Duskar, essentially right after Christmas. So the last game, you guys fought down a river. You threw out your foldable boat to catch up. Carrot conjured a water elemental. You powered down the river, met some other boats with Marith, and you all battled as you moved, pursuing the front boat. As you moved down the river, umbrella-like creatures spit out darkness and attacked you all during the chase. You rescued Felix's parents and caught Marith. It started by jumping between boats and into the water, and with the distraction of the dark mantles and the blocking of your water elemental, you were able to stop the lead boat before the path split and were thrown into more danger. Felix intimidated the piss out of Marith, who fully surrendered and resigned himself to his fate of being tied up. Marith laid out his plans, which confirmed everything you already knew. You got back to the gentlemen. Felix parents were officially out and no longer would be harassed by anyone in this organization, and if they did, they would have to speak to the gentleman, or the people that did the harassment would have to speak to the gentleman. He speaks of a proposal for you in the morning. Felix got a 24 pack of yoke that is in the bag of holding, and you turned one on for all your current victories. The next morning, you guys all woke up and went and saw the gentleman. The gentleman gave you, as his proposal, a story and a card, the card having a throne on it. Soon after, that she had received soon after, or a few months ago, years ago, and you are now the rightful owners of a place called Harrow Hall. As her story went, she sent multiple people out to Harrow Hall to see what it was as she came into possession of it. They never came back. She offered it to you and set up a mercenary group independent of her, but she could pass a steady flow of work as your principal investor. And you took a look at the card in the deed. Took the card in the deed, and that you would be given funds, items to set up shop, and her influence would be minimal, mainly just taking a small cut of the work that you do. And you had her people send word to reach out to Spuds up in his farm up in the Crispvale thicket. After about a week, you were then reached out to by Yenra via a pretty long letter written in a pretty complicated cipher but between Carrick and Felix, you're able to discern after a day of study. There's actually, is this shared with all of you? I made the letter. There should be a handout. Show to players.
Oh.
So there's just that. Kind of goes over what you'd seen before. Planning to try to meet with you in 2 weeks. If you're in, they think they have enough information to start actually acting on things. You're post the information gathering segment of this and ready to start planning and action. Yeah, and that's kind of where you guys were. You were going to be heading out to Harrow Hall, after kind of this past week of of downtime. You have about a week until Yenra would say that they would probably be heading to Zadash, although she said if you're somewhere else or something like that to let her know and or where to meet you. Yeah, so it's kind of what did you do over this past week before you guys were going to head out to your new keep that you have out in the woods that seems to be very dangerous. Um, some things that were had been listed
Hello, random
before.
guy.
There was stuff at um, the invulnerable vagrant that you had interest in. Yeah, besides that, just really just a little bit of preparing to head out to your keep and kind of take a little breather after the hectic 4 days you just had going from uh foiling a plot by a um crime lord. So does anyone do anything? I would say things that you knew that were still that you had some interest in at the magic shop was the chain of returning, which was something you could clamp onto your any weapon and allow you to throw it and pull it back straight magically back to your hand via a check. And he did seem to be willing to part with some other more other items given some interactions that you had had before, especially spells for Carrick, which doesn't really matter in this situation, but uh, always may be something, he said. 1 second. Okay.
How's your
Yeah,
day
the only other things that are
going,
kind of
Mr.
like
Guy? Mr.
game
Random
wise, or what are
Guy,
your
how are you?
hirelings doing? They've just been sitting kind of hanging out at the leaky tap. We've never really given them direction, but whatever direction we do give them, we'll just say they've been doing that for the past couple weeks. Your current tab at that hotel and at the stables comes out to about 145 gold because you guys have been here staying there for about a month at this point. So assuming that then that's assuming that you have 3 rooms and the horse the stabling is 15 gold and the 130 gold is based off of you having 3 rooms for the past month, which
This is in
seems
Zadash, right?
yeah. So you
How
could
much
have
would
been
it cost
staying,
to purchase a townhome?
how much would it cost to purchase a townhome? Um, let me write that down and I can try and figure it out. A lot more purchase
A lot more
house.
than 145. I got it. That's. I need a new goal.
um, how nice would you like this townhome to be? Like in your parents' neighbor type of neighborhood, in the nicer neighborhood, in the slums?
He's not gonna be a slumlord, so in the nicer part of town. I'd say like I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. Probably about anywhere from 1,500 to 6,000 gold. However, you did just get a keep. So keep
No, I
yeah. Okay, but if you wanted to, yeah, a townhome would probably be about 1,500. A 30 by 40 foot, according to this. Oh, this is from the 4 ebook. A 2-story wooden building would be about 1,500 gold. A stone building would be 3,000. A tower would be 10,000. A mansion 40,000. A keep 75,000. A palace 175,000, and a castle is 250,000. I don't think there are any specific 5e rules, but I'll go off of that. You're probably sitting in Zadash because it is a larger metropolitan area. You're probably sitting closer between that, probably like that 3,000 to 6,000 range for something that would at least house all 4 of you guys and give you the space that you would want to all be there. If it was just for you, you could probably get something smaller if you just wanted a little, like bachelor's bungalow.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
So,
What's the
yeah.
mechanics of the chain again? I'm really close to getting it. So
Okay, so the chain is the chain of returning. 1 second. So we can have fun. It's weird. This morning I got an alert from the Ring network, and it was actually Caitlin's dog was lost, like our friend. It's very weird when you actually know the person that submits something on the Ring app, but they found it. So normally it's just, was that gunshots or fireworks?
what is the answer most of the time?
Fireworks. So that's essentially what it is. Bonus action, return to hand. You have to pass a DC 12 athletics check. Otherwise, it doesn't come right back to your hand.
How much is it?
We said it was 1 second. I want to say it was 2,000-ish. Yeah, 2,250.
All right, I have 3,250, so I'll buy it.
Okay, perfect. So you buy that. Go ahead and you can just, there's no thing to pull on, so just add it manually where you can remember it. So you buy that. Upon buying that, the proprietor, one of the 4 identical fear bulbs, goes, "Oh well, thank you so much. It's nice to have business. This came in a while back. It just seems to be some fine handiwork done on this. I didn't make it myself. It just kind of came into my collection for trade for some other things, and many of the soldiers on the front lines this isn't going to do anything for. So I thought I'd keep it around for enterprising adventurers like yourself that would want something more neat. Speaking of that, though, there is another item that I have, probably a bit more than that item you have. I'm calling it this is something of my own design, but I'm calling it the geez, why did I have to make this name up and forget it? I'm calling it the transportoscope. And he pulls out this very complicated, like in this wooden box, like it's a very complicated telescope. So like a spyglass, and as it pulls out, you have to turn things and then pull another thing out, and it seems almost has 8 segments in it, and like a little like knob that folds out like your low intensity finder that then you would look in through your other things. Like, now this is a little volatile, but if you look through this, you might be able to teleport yourself pretty far distance, I would say. Kind of explains what it does, and that allows you to teleport with up to 5 people if you can focus it just right. Anything within 200 feet is always within focus. To get outside of that, up to 500 feet is a DC 15 intelligence or arcana check. No, we'll just say so straight. No, that's just an intelligence check. DC anything over 500 up to 1,000 is DC 20. And if you fail, you roll a D20. If you get a 1, you get thrown 5 feet forward, land prone, and take 2d10 force damage. 2 to 15, nothing happens. 5 to 19, you appear 100 feet in a random direction from your spot. That could be up in the air, forward. You roll a d6 to figure out what direction you go after using it. And on a 20, even if you fail, if you get a nat 20, you still luckily appear where you wanted to. So this thing is probably going to run about 5,000 gold, but has pretty great utility as a especially because it can take 5 people with it. So it can do it, and it can do it once a day. So it says after you use it, it immediately will shrink back up into its small form, and then can only be unlocked come the next day. You know, just as a precautionary way to make sure you don't use it and have it explode in your hands. So
What was the range on that?
So minimum of 200, maximum of 1,000, based off of different checks. And you suppose you could probably try to go further, but he doesn't know what that would mean. And considering with your wizard, anything over, it would require a 15 to go, him to roll a 15 to go 1,000 feet. If he rolled a nat 20, he might be able to go further. So he kind of says, it's like, I've tested it up to this amount where I'm comfortable. You might be able to do more. Just you'd be risking limb and possible breakage of the device. So that is the new item, unless anyone wants to ask about anything else. I think you kind of already have asked about everything else here. There's some spells that Carrick might want, but other than that, it's kind of all the same. Yep. Anything else you guys do over this week, or is it just kind of a relax and then pack up and head out? You're given directions to Harrow Hall by the gentleman. It's marked on your map as down there. It says, you know, I haven't been there, but some of the scouts that went around that never actually went in would tell you that there is a big moat around it. It's kind of a creepy looking old keep, probably from some era of the Jewelist Dominion that is long gone. And but you are the rightful owners of it, so that's neat.
What was the estimated travel time from Zadash to there?
2 days.
2 days, okay.
Yeah, so 2 days and 2 days would be on foot or on horseback because it's a pretty dense forest. So going on a horse isn't necessarily faster because you'd still be walking. You can't do. There's no paved road. That's something that could maybe be figured out if once there's reason to. That would probably like, and if there was an actual road, it'd probably be a day. You could make it there a long day, probably like a 10-hour travel day as opposed to a, yeah, but 2 days. So you'd probably get there, like if you left in the morning and then slept and then went the next day, you'd probably get there around noon. So 1.5 days really. So
Jake, I can't remember based on the prices. You decided not to buy anything in the dash, right?
Not right now.
Yeah. Maybe like something that literally just has like 1 room and 4 beds at some point, maybe. But with Harrow Hall somewhat close, I think it seems redundant.
you could buy a restaurant instead.
With an upstairs that has a room.
With 1 room upstairs.
That would probably be sufficient. Were we gonna get spuds down to Harrow Hall too? Was that?
That was the reaching out. The gentleman said they'd reach out to him.
That's right.
But that's probably at least 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks to get the message there, and then a kind of question mark of if he'll come or not. Like, I assume you guys wrote a letter like inviting and explaining, and
Yeah, I mean, I think we wrote a letter telling him we need some potatoes for the grand feast of
and our new business venture. So yeah, if he wants to leave his new farm and let the farmers just kind of run it and be a potato magnate of the Marrow Valley,
I think he would love nothing more.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would leave that up to the person whose character it is, if you think that he would come.
I think he would.
If he was, it's probably 3 weeks to a month of him getting here, having to set up everything at his place and come back down. So yes. And you would also know this place is just called Harrow Hall. That is what people have dubbed it. There is no like actual name. That's just so it is completely renamable. Yeah. If nothing else, I guess you did get Yenra's letter. Do you respond? You have your little sending stone. You can respond.
I think we did respond.
I can't remember if you did.
I think we responded saying that we have some business to attend to, but we will be back in Zadash to meet with her.
Yeah, within close to that time frame.
Yeah.
So perfect. Okay. Well, yeah. If that is the case, we start the road to Harrow Hall. As you guys are you guys gonna take your horses and your moose, or are you just gonna hoof it on foot?
Like
hike.
I've asked this a bunch of times. The conversion rate gold to platinum is that 1 to 10? 10 to 1?
Everything's 10 to 1 except for Electrum, but we don't use Electrum. We don't, because why have the one thing that's different?
I'm just condensing my currencies. I guess I go to the bank in Zadash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need.
Really cared about encumbrance. That's the only reason that it matters. Because gold gets heavy. You essentially just have a chest on your back.
Well, when I also had 3,000 silver.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So yeah, probably a little heavy. 4,000, 3,000 gold and 3,000 silver. That is definitely a chest's worth. And I'm just lugging around.
Every 50 of each coinage, how I've done the math in it, at least for gold, definitely is every 50 is the weight of a roll of pennies. So there's 50 pennies in a roll. So if you have 3,000, that's what 60 60 times 50. That sounds about right. Yep. So you have 60 rolls of that equivalent of weight just from your silver.
How did that
But
work? Is
I
platinum
don't care
heavier?
about that because that is a silly thing to keep track of.
I'm just messing around with it to watch my weight, and I condensed 2,000 gold into 200 platinum, and my weight went up.
Okay, that doesn't quite make sense. Well, anyway.
Oh no, it went down. I'm just dumb.
Oh, so when you are walking, are you walking or taking the horses? Only reason to take the horses would just not have them be stabled.
Then let's go.
Steve is not stabled, so
Steve can just
And
not
like-
exist whenever I need him not to. So
yeah. See, and it costs 5 silver a day for each of the animals. So if you take 3 of them out, you're saving one gold and 5 silver a day. So
are we compiling any supplies for our settlement?
what the gentleman said originally was once you come back and say it's all clear, they will send like at least like the initial once you know what you need there will kind of help furnish it as their initial investment that you will start paying back as work is done. So you don't need to, but you can bring whatever you want. You can bring, you know, a couple days of food or things like that, but right now you have real no information about what this place even looks like, besides it's a fort with a moat around it. But you can take whatever you want.
Right, my moose. I'll not pass up a occasional items.
Okay. So Moose is coming at least. So we'll say that you unstable 2 of your animals, and then Steve can be summoned and start heading your way down. It's chilly. Like it's definitely the, you know, first third of winter as you're coming through here. It's not uncommon for there to be snow on the ground. Not a ton, but definitely, you know, like maybe an inch or two that in the forest for sure kind of sticks around because it's in perpetual shade and that, but it's not anything compared for the 2 people that used to live in Icewind Dale. It almost feels like a balmy day, but it is, you know, it is definitely cold. So so as you go through, it's kind of slow going, you know, but you do get to listen to the crunch of snow underneath the hooves of the animals you are all riding. Just some questions while you're riding. This is day 1. You were asked by the gentleman that, you know, she has every intention or every belief that you will all be very successful on this endeavor and come back, and this is a great business opportunity, and asked you to start thinking about a name for your new mercenary group, so she can start drumming up business, getting some excitement, recruiting some possible others that could come join, because you guys don't have a ton of, you know, that kind of clout. So recruiting people might be a little hard. Like you can think of people, you know, would be like the guards that work that you took their armor from that lady, or for your heist, or maybe some people up in Shady Creek Run that are tired of being there, or yeah, maybe Chonk, but Chonk's out and about. So you kind of want to do that, but first they probably need some sort of name of who they'd be working for, and that. Yeah, and so just something to start thinking about what you want your mercenary company to be.
I'm gonna
named.
let Aubrey out real quick.
Okay.
I will still I'll still be listening.
Okay. So there's that. And also, if any of you have kind of plans for the place, once you like plans of grandeur, you don't know what it's going to be. It could truly just be a hovel surrounded by a moat, but kind of what are the big plans for this? And these are all questions posed by the gentleman. Just wants to know who they're kind of in business with. So things to think about while you're on the road, and feel free to tell me them if you have any. Oh, and also, do you bring the hirelings with you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, actually, I don't know. Should we bring them with us and or just like I think we'd end up setting up like shop for them there as like their headquarters, but I don't know if we need to. I don't know that we should put them in danger at this point.
True. I mean, you think that Tiburon might be able to hold themselves in a scrap, with some level of magic. You know for a fact Swinton is just Swinton. So, up to you.
Yeah, I think we'd leave them behind. We're gonna take care of whatever we gotta take care of.
Yeah. So, about the middle of the day, or no, not the middle of the day. You guys, the first day goes without anything really happening. It's just a simple walk. Since it's winter, there's not a lot of wildlife movement. It's not a lot of things like that. Any major predators are probably hibernating or doing that. Everything's kind of shut up. So it's just a very quiet, nice, it's partly cloudy, sunny day. So you do get a little like glimpses of sun through these trees and that. So it's just kind of a nice walk through the woods for that first day. You bed down. Luckily, you have the tiny hut, which makes it a very comfortable temperature. In fact, you can just set the tiny hut on, like make it 95 degrees. That will quickly melt all the snow on the ground, so you don't have to lay on it. And and then bed down for the night. Does anyone want to take watch during the night, or just kind of take it easy?
Yep, usual.
Usual. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Just roll one perception check to see if anything happens throughout the night. Nope, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You don't see anything. In fact, like the one thing that happens is it actually like scares you and you accidentally wake everybody up, is an owl just like flits down and lands on top of your dome, and it goes like tink tink tink, and it scares you, and you let out like a scared fart, and it wakes everybody up. And
the fuck? We good?
And that is what that's what happens.
I was just practicing with my bagpipes and scared myself.
Yeah.
So scary. I was thinking about a song to have a. So scary. I just scared myself. Yeah. I was so haunted.
You actually accidentally played the haunting, like you turned the knob to haunt mode, and it scared you. So, let's see. The next day, you all get up and start. According to like the map that you have and kind of where it is, you think that like you don't have like a direct line. It'll take a little bit to find it this initial time. So go ahead and make a survival check on this day to make sure that you're going to the absolute right direction to this place. Ooh, what line are we now? I guess what color line should we use now?
Orange.
Kind of a new chapter.
Let's use orange. I think it's something we haven't used before.
Yeah.
Orange or yellow.
We'll do orange. And then are we on the right layer? Nope. So, whoop.
The real question is, was it the sound of the fart or the smell of the fart that woke everyone up?
I would say both, one after the other. The first one kind of like you kind of like jolt a little bit, and then the second one is what keeps you awake for the next 15 minutes. Okay, so you guys are about there. Thank you first. I hate this paladin aura warning.
What? Oh, yeah, it's annoying.
Like I'm tempted to go find the, because I have actual access to the JavaScript file that it is, and just delete this, because it doesn't work on something with a custom scale, because the scale is by miles, not by feet. So yeah, so with a 24, you are pretty sure that you are on the right path.
Yeah, it's weird that it wants to do that without the character tokens on this layer.
Yeah, it's just it's applying it completely, so it just is looking for anything that is marked as a paladin. So it's probably because something's in the journal could be, it does it. So who knows? Yeah, so Carrick is kind of riding in the center of you, and as you guys are riding, something kind of wild happens. Carrick just straight up disappears off of his horse. Just like, whoop. The only person who's kind of seen this happen would be Christopher. Normally it happens at night, but you've seen Carrick just suddenly disappear, and the horse kind of gets spooked and starts like going around and is about to like just straight sprint off into the woods. What do you guys do?
Anyone seen Carrick?
Just get off my horse and put a little note. Went this way. Catch up later.
Follow the footsteps. Follow the trail of from.
Yes. His horse will be gone, but just follow the trail. Yeah, the horse.
Do we have any like mittens or something to leave from when he comes back?
You leave just some gloves that you have laying around. You'll know he has to warm up. You guys would all have never seen it, but you would know that this has happened to Carrick, where he disappears and comes back just covered in snow. And he's explained, he's like, I don't quite know where I'm at, but I do disappear for, each time he's done it, it's like the first time it was maybe like 15, 20 seconds. Second time it was a couple minutes. So, yeah, so you guys just continue? Are you just letting the horse run off?
I'll try and grab the reins.
Okay.
Well, you're on Steve, so I guess it makes sense. You could ride this one instead.
Yeah.
And,
true.
Put Steve away.
Yeah. Still just leaving Carrick, no horse, no nothing. Just some mittens and a note. But you would know he generally appears right back where he was, which is also funny to think that he'll appear like he was riding a horse and just fall to the ground.
We'll put a little.
It's on brand though.
Yeah, it is on brand.
Can I hook a GoPro to the camera and record it so I can watch it later?
Yes. GoPro on a vulture. So yeah, he disappears. So you guys, kind of knowing this and trusting Carrick's ability, you all start walking. At this point, though, it does get like super dense, where you're going to have to get off of your horses and just kind of lead them. After you travel maybe another quarter mile up ahead of you, it's just super dense. So where like riding them is putting them in peril of breaking an ankle or something like that. So you kind of have to lead them around and lead them around. And as you're doing that, you hear a kind of a sudden crack underneath your feet, and I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw. And I guess everybody also gets a +3 to this because or not, Fel doesn't, but you get a +3 because you're standing within 10 feet of Fel. So you guys all pass what I thought was hard DC 17 deck save as you all jump back and this just crater opens up underneath you. Looking down, you can't see the bottom of it, but there seem to be like tangled roots and ivy kind of like on the sides going down, and it's just like this straight cylindrical shaft. Like it doesn't look like it looks purposefully made. Like this is actually something, not just a pit in the woods like that. This was someone wants to investigate it or do anything like that to get kind of what you could put together from this. You do know that this hole looks weird, like kind of out of place in the middle of the wilderness.
That's not a great roll.
Yes, exactly. It looks weird and out of place in this wilderness. You
What
can't.
do you guys think?
You
It's
can't.
just a hole.
Yeah, you can't see the bottom.
It's like this. Has anybody here watched Buffy except for me?
I have not.
There's a scene where Spike, like he's talking to Angel and he goes, "It's a giant rock. Can't wait to tell my friends." And this is very similar in vibes. Giant hole.
Oh,
Can't
that's
wait
weird.
to tell my friends.
Can't see the bottom. Okay, well, kind of weird.
Yep.
A
Okay.
low down bag of tricks thing.
You want to
Throw a weasel. Throw a weasel down there.
Yeah.
Lower him on some of the
Throw him
rope you
down.
bought.
Hopefully not a giant elk on a
Okay.
fly. So,
Yeah. Go ahead and throw out an animal.
All right, we got a wee giant rat.
Okay.
Giant rat lower down.
And you just tie some rope to it,
Yeah. Yep. Silk.
or you just punt a rat down. So yeah, so you start lowering it down. And how long is the rope?
How long is rope? I don't know.
As we tie the rope to it, well, no, that's gonna like end up frying the rat. I'm curious if we could also tie a torch to it so we can see where it goes.
You could just drop a torch down there.
Oh, hey, what a good idea.
But if it's a 50-foot rope, you can like head it down, and about at the 40-foot mark, you notice that like the rope is going slack at that point, like as if the rat has touched ground about 40 feet down.
Do
So
we hear any scared rat noises?
no. Make a perception check to see if you hear anything. It is like one of those like weird, like deathly still in the middle of winter days. And
Is there any reason we're standing here by this hole and not just going around it? Like, I guess we'll have to warn people of this hole and make sure we like take care of it, but
I will say this hole exists because one of you was supposed to fall down, and this is how we don't have to have Carrick here for the day.
well, then you should have just made us all fall down the hole and not made us roll checks.
I know, but there is. If I made you roll checks, then it doesn't feel like I'm totally railroading you. As opposed to saying, you must go down this hole.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We all passed our checks, and we don't want to go down the hole. Now you're fucked.
I know. I made a calculated risk, and it failed.
Hey, who wants to climb down this hole? Let's go exploring.
I mean, I could have even... All I would have had to actually do is make the DC 20, and then it would have worked.
Actually,
Let's
also
Willy
get
Wonka that. Go back, reverse it.
Yep.
Just say I have advantage too, so I just want to see if I got a natural.
What happens there? When the rat appears, it spooks your horse and pushes you down the hole, Felix.
Oh shit!
There, is that? Make an acrobatics check.
Who are you talking to?
No, I think
just nat 20 this acrobatics check and save yourself.
The aura of mystery is done. Please go down this hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're going down the hall for sure.
Okay.
Because you know what? It's not fun not having an adventure.
Yes, because otherwise you guys are going to Harrow Hall without your mage.
All right, let's rock and roll. Let's go down the hole. Who's going down
Okay.
first?
Go down.
I would say just from what you got, if you dropped a torch down, you would see down at the bottom, it's definitely a stone floor, illuminated. The rat's kind of just skittering around as a torch just fell from the sky, and it's on a leash essentially. It's
Whoa, boy.
but it doesn't look like if you wait a minute that the torch alerted anything. It seems whatever's going down there, there's probably not anything in it necessarily.
Cool. So I'm gonna climb down then.
Yep. And actually climbing, you don't need the rope. The roots and like almost this ivy is so thick on the sides, you feel like you can climb down to the bottom of that and probably get within like 10 feet of the actual floor and just drop that last 10 feet and be fine. You can tie a rope, of course, but
No, just climb down.
okay. So you guys all climb down.
Yeah.
Tie up your horses, have them stay there.
Guard the hole.
Steve, keep a
Yeah.
lookout.
Steve's gonna babysit the other horses. You ever think that Steve is just like pissed? It's like, what are these fucking dumb horses?
Especially when they're scared and run off from stuff. He's like, what are you doing?
You know, the number one thing we shouldn't do is run. We're big. Okay, let me put you all on the map. Oh, go ahead and heal yourself up to full. Make sure you've taken a long rest. Oops. Okay, so as you guys climb down carefully into the wall, the first thing that you would notice as you come down, you know, you're about 45 feet down in the ground. This place is hella dark. You have your dark vision, but like there's no it is eerily dark. Just, you know, except for the light now from your torch on the ground and the light that's coming down through that beam. This room actually isn't, but even like as you get outside of that light, it seems almost darker than it should be. Everything is kind of like a weathered sandstone type material, and there's a faint scent of decay and damp earth that lingers in the air. The only real sound you hear is your own footsteps kind of echoing in this stone chamber, causing and occasionally you hear the drips of water that you don't quite see. Let's see. Inside of this room, you do see a stone staircase